The problem you have is not the problem. Neither the cause of the problem is not the problem. But the attitude you develop towards the problem is a problem. In every job or in every career, there is a problem, or you find different challenges. But it depends on how you can handle those challenges and stay at work. As a housemaid, when you go to the house, you find some challenges. It cannot be perfect, but at times there are challenges you must deal with. But if you decide to move from one house to another, still you'll find other challenges. But if you get to know how to deal with those challenges, you might stay, or still you might decide to go and change and get another house. So many we have changed houses due to some challenges that we do face in the houses, or due to some so-called problems. But the attitude we give towards those problems have made us to move from one house, the second house, third house, another house. Since we call them problems, we have not got to know that the attitude we always give to those problems, it is the problem. But once you get to know how you can deal with it, how you can settle with it, how you can bear it and work with it, you must stay even in one house and work after you go back home. But due to lack of the knowledge on how we can react towards those problems, this has resulted even more have lost their lives, others have been injured, and others are in depression. It wouldn't have been a big deal, but at times how we deal with the problems and how we react towards them. There are so many people, you are in a situation whereby you're like, you are in a situation, maybe you're suffering, or you have reached an extent of saying the situation where I am right now. My sister, my father, my mother, or my so-called best friends have caused this. But just because you know the person and you know the cause, what they did to you, and you feel like you can't bear it, the attitude you are going to give out of what you've known or out of what you've seen might result into something big, even more than that. Sometimes we plan to do some things and we end up failing to do so. Just because we have seen others have failed, we have seen others have given up on the way, it's how we are going to think that if I also start up something, I will have to think like so, that it's how I'm going to end up like failing or giving up on the way. If I've been in a house and they have not been paying me, if I come out and I say I worked for my 2 years and I was not paid, will you stop coming to work just because you will think that you are likely to work and you're not going to be paid? No, it's not like that. You might come to the same house you work, they don't pay you from the maybe like from the first 2 months or the first 1 month, they don't pay you. But it's how you're going to deal with it. It's how you're going to talk with your bosses. It's how you're going to even the reaction you give towards your bosses while asking for them to pay you also matters. I might have failed to get my money or to be paid just because of how I reacted, and I failed to get my money, or they failed to pay me because of how I reacted while I was asking for my money. But when you come and yours is totally different way on how you're going to request for that money or to request for your salary, you might end up be paid or be given every month. Wherever you work, you are paid. Wherever you work, you are paid. It won't be the same. When you leave a house and you have left a problem, how do you think that this problem is going to go away if you have failed to solve it? So that means if I also come, I'm weak like you, or if someone else comes, and it's how we are going to live like some problems untouched, simply because we don't know how to deal with them, or at times we don't know how to sit and work with those problems. At times they might be small, but due to exaggerations at times we do get from others, and we start building them and they start becoming big. Changing the house is not a solution. If you have left a problem, rather talk about it, rather open your mouth and say something about it, so that they can know there is a problem which must be solved. If not, they must know that there is a problem. If someone else comes and complains about the problem, still they will get to know. This is how some problems are going to be solved. But moving here to the other without even saying something, without even like trying to bear with some small issues, we are likely to keep leaving the houses just like that. And still when we move to other houses, still we will find the same thing, and still we leave it untouched, just like that. Social media has become part of the solution for problems, more so to family matters or family problems. So many people use social media to solve their problems. Yet there are times people who don't like their family problems to be on social media. Some issues would have been solved within the houses. But once you try to put it on social media, it is going to be exaggerated. It is going to become big, whereby you are not likely even to bear it. I came across this interview of a housemaid who worked in Saudi Arabia years back. And on her interview, she was like she worked in 11 houses. You might say, I don't know how it came to be, but 11 houses, nowadays you cannot work in 11 houses, I think. For housemaids to work, trials, they must be maybe less than 4 houses. If you try and fail, they must be 4 houses. If you fail, then a possibility of going back home, it is high or it is big for you. I don't know how she did it in 11 houses, but in 11 houses, if you say that in those houses where you found all those problems that you mentioned, how come that you did not even find a house to settle in? At times, we ourselves are the problems, but we keep blaming the houses that we go. You can't go in one house, the second house, the third house, the fourth, fifth, sixth. Still you keep finding challenges, and you fail at least to bear with one problem and settle in one house. Then you work until you go back home. That means some housemaids, we need to check ourselves where necessary, and we stop the blame on these houses. Every house has got a problem. Even if I also go to your house, to your father's house, I must find their problem. If I don't bear with it, then I must leave the house. So we are not perfect. People are not perfect. These houses are not perfect, but it's how we can find ways on how we can deal with those challenges or those so-called problems, bear with them, work with them, then we go back home. If you exceed 5 houses, at least sit down, check yourself, see how you can help yourself, because it's like some people have failed to help you, but it's you to look for something where you are wrong or where you are doing things not right, and try to help, try to collect yourself, or try to bear with some, and then continue with your work. This is Merciful. I'm a housemaid in Saudi Arabia. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate you, and may God bless you so much. All the best. Much love from this side to yours.